What a beautiful place to start the stream. It's almost become the theme tune for the stream between that and Airwolf, I think. Is my microphone on? Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Hey guys, who we got here then? Let's have a look. Mr. G, hey, Andy Magic Knight, Prince Phase, Steps, Eldritch, Retro Steve, Fresh Cat Meat, welcome. Mad Beagle, welcome. Fit Trend, Microman, CB Meeks, welcome guys. I always like to start the stream off with a little memory test, see if I can remember who I've already said or not. It's going to get difficult as we go on. So I bought a vape pen to replace the one that I currently have, which seems to be broken. But this one freaking leaks all the time through the air holes. I don't know why. I have to sit here with a bit of tissue and mopping it up all the time. I don't know why it's leaking. It's definitely not the tank. That's why it was the tank, it's the air holes. So when's the Mega 65 being delivered? I don't know. Probably sometime in November. I'd guess from what was last said on the blog, from the delivery note. Yeah, not long. But in that same month, everything comes out in that same month, so it's gonna be a busy month. And now add to that, the new Atari VCS stuff has been apparently it's being shipped now, so it's still going to code C64 stuff when it comes out. Oh yes, of course, C64 is always going to be my main machine. What I'll do with the Mega 65 is so Saturdays are always going to be C64 focused, 100%. Tuesday and Thursday will alternate between various things. So is the Atari being shipped straight to the tip? It's going under my TV. I'm just going to use it as a like a media center with a few Steam games on it as well. I think it's probably what I'm going to use it for mostly. Okay, I was a bit worried before the stream because my chat kept disconnecting constantly, and it seems to have leveled out. So in the 10 minutes before I started the stream, the chat disconnected 7 times. Seems to be all right now. So okay. Yeah, so Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to alternate between Mega 65, Game Boy, and any other Commodore projects that I've got on. So at the moment, that's just Game Boy in Checkanoid, but I'll be throwing a Mega 65 kind of stream into that mix as well. So there'll be it will alternate around a little bit depending on what I feel like doing on any particular day. So obviously it's a learning process first, just to kind of figure out what I can do with the things. So there'll be probably 1 or 2 streams where it's just messing around with it. I'll probably build it on stream as well because it comes as a kit. My soda of choice, yeah. I do like a Coke Zero. It's good. All right, let's. I can't remember where we were with this, so let me just load it up. Oh, that's right. We put a title screen in and a game over, I think, as well. Yeah, we've done the game over fade out, haven't we? That's right. Which actually looks kind of nice. I like that. And then back to the screen again. Okay, cool. So I'd been toying with the idea of doing a music player all week. But to be honest, this is for one game, right? It's unlikely I'm not going to do. It's unlikely I'm going to do any more Game Boy Z80 streams after this. If I do, I might do one in C rather than in Z80, just because I fancy trying it out, see what it's like. What about Serious Sam? You've been playing that? Yeah, I played a little bit of it. I played through the first level the other day, and it was pretty cool actually. I liked it. The very first scene that it drops you into the game apparently has 100,000 enemies on screen at once, and it's kind of insane how well it runs. I mean, all right, my machine should be able to run it, but still, it's kind of crazy. It's one of these intros to the game where it's not the first level; it's like a prologue, and it drops you in, and basically the idea is you're going to die. It's kind of just, and then it goes like 2 weeks earlier, sort of thing, or 48 hours earlier. So it's kind of it's showing you the end of the game, kind of before you get to it. I still see this leaking everywhere. God damn it! But it is absolutely crazy. I was going to stream a little bit of it the other day, but I thought after all the trouble I had trying to stream Satisfactory, I thought I just can't be bothered. I'll leave it. So, any chance you could rig your roulette 100% like Hayes did yesterday? I don't think you can rig it, can you? Oh, let me start the races though and the quiz. I don't think you can change the percentage. I might be wrong though. Maybe you can. There we go. So yeah, I was gonna do a music player routine today, and I thought about like how little I'm actually going to use for it. And I thought I may as well just find something that will play them. So I was looking at a Devil Mask tracker, which I know isn't the best tracker in the world, but it does have Game Boy support. I believe it outputs Z80 format, so this might be enough to do what I need it to do, and I can always edit the Z80 code to change the waveforms if I need to. So what I thought we'd do tonight instead is, what is that? I have no idea what that is. Metal Slug Racing. That's a strange one. Put it to 100% so we win every time. Galactic Games. Okay. Yeah, so I thought what we do tonight is some enemy work, because it's kind of one of the few things left to do to get the game fully operational. I mean, keys as well, I guess, but enemies we can just drop into the level now quite easily. Um, so I did, just before the stream, create some new animations for two of the enemy types. I thought we'd drop them in and see if we can get that working. So, unlike the first game, the enemies will look the same in both modes. It's just the palette will change. So in the old mode, the palette will just change to the Game Boy palette, so they'll blend in with the background properly. I didn't want to reduce the color count down and make them like high res, because that doesn't really suit the style of the game. I think the Stickman is kind of fine because it's your main focus when you're looking at the game. It's your main focus of um, and having a way to identify that. I mean, it's kind of obvious because the screen's all green, but having that quick visual confirmation that you're in that mode is also good. I do want to kind of go through and change some of the graphics slightly as well, because I noticed that this screen just looks odd in this mode, because the water isn't moving, which is kind of fine. I don't mind the water not moving here. It is kind of obvious what that is, but this lamp looks weird. I may just get rid of the lamps in this mode. Because it does need to look simpler, but just not too weird. Okay, so I'll tell you what else I'm going to do as well. I'm going to put the races on 10 minutes instead of 15. And I'm going to do another one right now, because I'm not going to be taking the same sort of breaks that I normally do, because I'm going to be on this instead. So make them more frequent. I will go for the odd break here and there, but I won't be smoking. trying to figure out what these are when they come on. I can't work out what that is. It's flickering around too much. Oh, the fuck is that? Yeah, I have no idea what that is. Oh, yes, I do. I know what it is. Yes. Nice. Well done, Retro Steve. You'd have beat me to that. I knew what it was. As soon as I knew what it was, you kind of typed it out. Okay, so I've created these two files, these two sprites now. So what we're going to do is we're going to see. First of all, we're just going to display them on the screen. So we're going to create an enemies file, and the enemies file is basically it's going to work just by a list of enemies that are on the screen, what they are, where they are, and what frame they're on. You can't kill enemies, so there's no need to kind of have any removal of the enemies. They just need to be cleared between screens, obviously, and they need to be put in on each screen. So that will be some additional information in the screens, which we probably don't have right now. Let's just have a look. Just have a look in here. So yeah, we've only got the screen imports file, so I'm going to have to go in and add some enemy data into that until I can add it into the map. So let's have a look. Export file and just have a look at what we need to add in there. So probably do with opening up the map edit so we can see. I'm really not as motivated to do this today as I normally am. Not that I'm that motivated to do Gameboy Z80 anyway, but just been very tired today. But it's fine. It's fine. Welcome, Press7. Welcome to the stream, dude. Right, okay, so here is our map. Maybe we can add the data in here now, but actually maybe not, because I don't have actually any sprite placements in here. So this is something I'm going to have to add in is a sprite kind of placer, sprite system in here. But for now, we'll just have a look at the map and see if we can figure out where the enemy should go. Okay, so this is our map. And it's going to be loaded in. So we've got 5 screens across, 6 screens down, which doesn't make any sense because there's only 5 across and 5 down, but okay. Probably just means the last ones are empty. And we start, where do we start? Then we start here, don't we? Oh no, we start here now. So let's kind of have a look at that. So that would be screen, what would that be? That would be screen 02. This one here. Oh, which is a binary file, of course it is. Okay. So to go in here. Okay. So yeah, it creates this list anyway. Extra pages, enemies and keys. Here we go. So this data at the bottom here is going to have some information about what something is and where it is. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to contain any additional information. So just 3 bytes is enough to define an enemy. So let's start by just creating a basic enemy in here. So we'll just say enemy type 1, and that is at let's give it an X. Let's just do half and half like that. And let's just put some information in here. So enemy type 1 at X equals 10, Y equals 10. So let's do Y equals 9 so the numbers are different. And then we just need to reduce this because these values need to be this same length all the time for this to work properly. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. We're looking at reading in these enemies when we enter a screen. So we're going to have to take a new file, call it enemies, or actually let's call it objects, because it's could have keys in it as well. So oh no, I'm just going to call it enemies. It's just a key will be a special type of enemy. That's all. Otherwise, it's just going to get confusing looking at all the different files. Like, what the hell is an object? Hey, Furrow, welcome to the stream, dude. Hope you're doing well. Oh God, is this still leaking? Yeah, I don't understand why this is leaking. I don't know what I've done. I followed the instructions. I filled it up properly. I can only imagine that the coil is letting liquid through somehow when it shouldn't be doing. Or the liquid is too thin, but it's a VG liquid, so it shouldn't be that thin. In fact, I can tell it's quite thick when I'm pouring it in. So whatever. Okay, enemies. So let's create an add enemies here. And this is basically going to go through our current map code and add the enemies to some kind of array somewhere. So let's make an array in RAM somewhere. So let's create a couple of different things here. So let's have max enemies in here. Let's make that 08. It's just rarely going to be more than 08, but let's try that. Okay, so we need enemy type. Actually, do this, and this will be. Actually, can I do it like that? This time I can do that. Enemy X, enemy Y. Now they are probably going to need some additional properties down here, but we can add them as we come to them. For now, what we're interested in is just spawning an enemy of a particular type at a particular location. Sparing them for giveaways, yeah. Still not sure what to do on the next giveaway. I was considering just getting a C64, just getting an eBay C64, refurbishing it and selling that and giving that away. But I am assuming everybody here already has a C64, so I don't know how useful that would be. There's also Pi 1541 as well, so I've got one of them lying around somewhere that I haven't built. We can maybe do that and sell that. There's definitely something wrong with this. Anyone who's anyone has a C64. So true, so true. So yeah, giving away a C64 would be, I don't know, because there's definitely people who don't have it. Yeah, there's the Specky Pie as well. Yeah, which is another one I could probably do at some point. The thing is, I need some time to kind of plan those things. With a C64 giveaway or a Pi 1541, I have those things available pretty easily. Well, I don't have a C64. Well, I've got parts, but none of them are good enough really for a proper refurb. A C64 which a drunk Shalon has thrown up on, you wouldn't want that. Just get a C64 pour some tequila into it and leave it in the sun for a couple of weeks, and that will give you an approximation of that anyway. Okay, so we need to load these enemies in when the map loads. So let's have a look at map loader, which is probably this one. And let's have a look as it goes. So as we go through the map data, we should end up, yeah, here we go. So copy the additional map data, which is this bit here. Color the hood, dialogue screens. So is this actually importing the dialogue? Let's have a look. So let's move this over to here. Okay, so what I need to figure out is, okay, this is just loading destination dialogue screens. Okay, so we are loading some stuff into dialogue screens, which is this here, 8 bytes. Okay, so we're loading 8 bytes of the dialogue, which is is that it? That looks like dialogue rooms. No, that's, I don't know why it says dialogue rooms. Enemies and keys. So I think at this point HL will be pointing to it. We can do some checks here. I think I make a macro for this. Let's give it a try. So what I'm looking for is these values at this location in memory when the game breaks. So let's try that out, see what happens. Okay, so we've broken at that point. HL is pointing to 465C. So let's go and have a look at that. 465C. And I do indeed see those values. Okay, so at this point, HL. So let's put a note in here. HL is now pointing to enemy data. So we can go and call our enemies, add enemies routine. So we do need to add that into the main game. So let's just close some of these down. And done. That, and that, don't need that. Okay. So let's import that in here. Oops. I don't know how we're doing for memory, actually. Let's have a look where we are with that as well. So we have... oh, wow, we've still got... Yeah, we've still got like 11k of slack in just in that first bank, so it's pretty good. And similar in the screen bank as well. Oh, we've got tons of room. This is awesome. Who got that one right? I missed who got that one. I didn't actually hear it. I didn't hear the little ting from it. Interesting. I worship the sofa. Oh, worship the sofa. That's a cool name. Doing assembly seems so daunting. Yeah, as Mad Beagle says, Z80 is not as readable. In my opinion, anyway. I'm sure it is to people who use Z80 all the time, but I don't think it's quite as readable as 6502, which is what we normally do on this channel. Okay, so we can call add enemies here. So at this point now, HL points to enemy data. So we can use that to just keep looping through this list. Where was our looping through this list, picking out enemies and adding it to our RAM list here. until we hit the end. So I'm just wondering, actually, should this be like this, or should we maybe group it, because we don't have indexes? So no, it's fine, we'll do it like this, I think. Actually, no, think about this. So basically, if we load this value from HL and increment, we're going to load in. Where's it gone? Where is it gone? We're going to load this value in here, and then this value, and then this value. So they're sequential here. They're in groups of 3, and they're sequential. But in RAM, they're not going to be sequential. Looking at this, unless we change it to be sequential. So what I might do here instead is just call it enemy data, and do this times. Do it in groups of 4 for now, and then we'll mark what they are. So data. Then this way, it's going to be a lot easier for us to read this and write to this. So right one would be X, right one would be Y. Actually, let's do it in A, and then byte 3 to 7 is files, and that gives us 5 bytes that we can use for other stuff. So one of the things that we'll be using here is the direction that an enemy is moving in, which for the triangle guys will just be left and right, so it'll just be a single value, 1 or -1. But for the bat things that kind of fly around, they'll have 2 directions, so they'll have an X direction and a Y direction. There'll also be things like timers for swoops, which the bats have, and stuff like that. So that's what we'll use these variables for. So so that's the format we're going to go in. Okay. So our loop is going to be here, and what we're going to do in this loop is we're going to load in the first value. So we're going to load in byte 0. If it is 0, then we jump to exit. But we also need to load DE with our enemy data here, because that's where that's the destination. So I've been thinking of DE as destination. I can't remember who told me to think of it like that, but it's a really good idea. So I think of DE as my destination. So then, regardless of what data is there, we need to store it at our destination. So so we're going to store A at the pointer pointed to by DE. I'm going to implement DE. Now, if A is 0, which we can do by doing this even. So this is shorthand for doing this. If that is equal to 0, then we can go to exit, because at that point we know we've reached the end of the array. A type of 0 means that there is nothing else. Otherwise, we can start grabbing the data from this. So let's put some information in here for each one. So this is type, and then X and Y next. Which is the same block of code, because basically what this is doing, this is loading the contents of which is pointed to by HL, which is the enemy data in here, this data here, and then when it's loaded value from this memory location, increases this, so the next time it reads it, it will be from here, and then it stores that value into the location pointed to by enemy data, which is this piece here. And then we implement that. There is no DEI, there's only HLI, so we have to implement that separately on the next line. Now, unlike the previous one, we don't need to do any comparisons here. We just need to store that value and then do it again. So that's grabbing our X and Y and it's putting them in these locations. Now, at this point now, we have 5 extra variables that are not required, but only in our destination. Our source information comes in 3, so we don't need to increment HL anymore because that's already incremented by 3 here. You can see 1, 2, 3. But DE we need to actually add 5 to. So the easiest way to do this is going to be to load the accumulator with the contents of E, add 5 to it using ADD, which is add without carry, and then put that back into the accumulator, and then load the accumulator with the contents of D and add with carry 0. And that's just going to make sure that if that does overflow beyond 255, that we actually add 1 to the upper byte as well. So put a note here to say skip the var data. Now, we may want to change this based on the enemy type at some point, but for now, this will be enough for us to get the data into the memory where we need it, and then we can jump back to loop. And that's it. That is going to transfer the data from here. From here into here, and create a system which eventually, when it gets to the last byte and it has a 0 in it, it will store 0. So we'll be able to read the first byte. If it's 0, we've already reached the end of the enemies. Otherwise, no, there is no wine tonight. Tonight's wine is Coca-Cola. I do need to update the HS3C. I think it's had another update since I implemented it, so I might have to check that. I might download some of the other SID packages as well to expand it. Have I started on a new job? I started it last week. That's why I've been so blooming tired all the time. It's been a lot of my brain seems to get tired taking information in. Accidentally lose unentertainer. Accidentally lose it. Yeah, good point. Yeah, it is. It's good to be. Yeah, at least I'm earning money. That's the thing. I can't complain. It's fine. It just means that I was kind of hoping I'd be more inclined to do code off stream once I started a new job that wasn't just coding. But I'm just finding I'm really tired now. So, where might Adena find a SID list? Yeah, if you just the easiest way to find a SID to search for is to go to Deep SID, find the tune that you want to be played, and then copy the path to it. You'll get back into swing. Yeah, I think that's all it is. Because most of what I'm doing at the moment is kind of configuration of all the different VMs and systems that I need, as well as reading. So I'm reading through this at the moment, which is it's a great book, but my God, it's heavy. It's like a 900-page long book. So and reading makes me tired, so it doesn't help that when I'm reading that I'm kind of dropping off. So it's annoying as well because the first kind of half of that book or so I already know, but I have to kind of read it anyway just to make sure that I'm not forgetting something important. But yeah. Try Castellero del Diablo, good stuff. Yeah, did you try the red? Yeah, just type hack puta. Saw it in a film. Yeah, yeah. The Castellero del Diablo is nice. It is quite strong though. Yeah, but it is quite nice as well. It's picking up as a brand as well. It seems to be quite popular. What is that? Oh, who got that? Eldritch, nice, nice. Thanks for the follow, ClickTech UK. Welcome to the stream, dude. All right. Okay. So let's have a look. So we've loaded this data in now. So the next job is to convert that data into sprites that we can see on the screen. So we're gonna have in our enemies file. Who was that one as well? Admin is not admin has followed. Welcome to the stream, dude. Okay, so we already have some update stuff going on in the player file, so I am going to use similar format to what's going on in here. So init player is kind of what we're already doing with the add enemies. I never tire of that sub thing. I love that video. I think Hayes did that. God, it must have been a year ago now, easily. And I still don't. I'm still not tired of it. It's awesome. Thanks for the sub, ClickTech UK. Appreciate it, dude. What is this tune? Oh, it's 1983. That's why it sounds like that. So I guess I just need, it's the one that's going to convert this into sprites we need. I just want to make sure they're all the same. Thanks for the gift sub, Andy Magic Knight to Acmafin. Appreciate it, guys. Right, okay, so we've got animate player sprite, set player sprite. So animate and set, I think that's probably okay. Let's start with set enemy sprites, because this is going to be the important one. This is going to be the one that is going to convert whatever we see in this enemy list into sprites that we see on the screen. Now, I've just realized in here I'm using character positions, and I probably shouldn't use character positions. I should probably use sprite positions like this. Otherwise, sprites can appear kind of well. Otherwise, the update for the sprite is going to have to convert all the time, and I don't want to do that. Just getting back into messing with the CC20 game building videos are helping me so much. Not topics for. Oh no, it's absolutely fine. I'd much rather talk about Commodore 64 than Game Boy, to be honest. But I committed to making this game, so I will bloody finish it. It's actually not that far off. It's actually not that far off at all. And yeah, trust me, that's probably going to be one of the most constructive things anybody said all night. Trust me. As you will see from the chat, it's mostly just people gambling on races and calling each other names. The race bet amount should be in hex. That would be an additional challenge, wouldn't it? I should allow hex values. That would be kind of funny. Okay, so set enemy sprites. So basically what we want to do in here is the same as we do in the player one. So in the player one, we take the values and we put them into our meta sprite locations. So let's just grab that entire function and let's convert this into enemy sprites. So, okay, what is this doing? So this is taking position and a y. Actually, it's taking a y and an x, which is a little bit frustrating that it goes that way around, but fine, whatever. And it sets some flags. Okay, we don't care whether it's old or new sprites. As I say, they're going to stay the same. We may flick the colors over at some point, but for now, I just want to put the basics in. Let's just get an enemy in there. Okay, so it's really quite simple. We need 4 values, and we can drop them in, and that will give us all the data we need to build a sprite. The thing that needs to change here is the meta sprites. So if you remember on an earlier stream, I went over how the sprites work, and the way the sprites work is a sprite on the Game Boy is 8 pixels by 8 pixels, but obviously that is way too small for us to do anything meaningful. Sorry, just catching up with a bit of Discord there as well. So yeah, the way we build all the sprites in this game is out of 16 by 16 pixels. So we actually combine 4 sprites together to make one sprite. So that means we have to have a meta sprite, which is a kind of like we have tiles and meta tiles. So a tile is an 8 by 8 block of pixels, and a meta tile is a 16 by 16 block of pixels consisting of 2 by 2 tiles, 4 tiles arranged in a square. And it's the same with the sprites as well. Um, so we have a meta tile system, a meta sprite system, and by filling these values in here, um, the sprite system that we've coded will arrange the sprites in the correct place with the correct values. So we need to set some things here. The first thing is let's put these in order actually of the values that are going to get written. So okay, so you see here based on +0, +1, +2, +3. These are the values that get written into the meta sprite location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by what the hell is that? Something's bitten me or something. I don't know what that is. So what we're going to start by doing is we're gonna set up a value which is going to point to this location, and we're going to set up a value which is going to point to this location here. So we'll do the same thing again. We'll use HL as our source, and we'll use DE as our target. So enemy data is now our source. Our destination is going to be this area here. But we don't just want this location. We actually want meta sprite plus 0 times 4, except not 0 because 0 is the player character. So the first meta sprite. Each meta sprite consists of 4 bytes. So we have to add whatever our sprite number is times 4 to get the pointer to the beginning of that area. And then we do a loop here. Okay, so what do we need to do in the loop? Okay, first of all, we need the flags. Now the flags is just whether or not the sprite is flipped horizontal or upside down. It will also flipped horizontally or flipped vertically. It will also define whether or not which palette a sprite uses, which I think is what this is doing at the moment. This is just basically saying use this palette. So I'm just going to force a palette number in here, and I'm just going to put that in here because no other data needs to be set in that flag other than the palette data. And now instead of using this whole thing here, what we're going to use is DE. And every time we write to a location, we need to increment it so that this value goes up here. So we need to do it in inc DE here. So there we go. That's our flags. Now we need player X and player Y. Now, annoyingly, X and Y are in reverse order. So the easiest way to do this is going to be to load these two values into memory one at a time, and just transfer them. So this is going to be X because that's what's in our enemy data here. I could probably flip these values around, but I'm not going to. I don't think it's the right way around to do this, but that's the way the Game Boy is. So, address 4 has the location of exec base, which is basically the kernel. Basically the kernel. If you oh, you're talking about Amiga, aren't you? Oh, fucking hell. Made me panic then. It's like, what have I done? What have I done? Yeah, I got it. When I read the OS bit, I thought, no, this isn't Game Boy. Whiskey on a Tuesday might not have been the best of ideas. No. Okay, so we're going to load the accumulator with the X value, but then we're just going to push that into B. The reason I'm pushing it into B is because I now need to get the Y value. Notice I'm incrementing every time I grab from this area. I'm incrementing the HL value here. So I've grabbed actually the first one is the type, so I should probably grab that as well. So let me do that. So first one is type here. Second one is X. I'll put that in C. And then I grab the Y value. Okay, so the Y value comes from here. Oh, this is interesting because we're gonna need yeah, we're gonna need some extra information to do the frame. But for now, we'll just put any old frame in. And just see if it appears where we want it to appear. And then once we know it appears where we want it to appear, we can start thinking about doing the animation. And then once the animation works, we can start thinking about doing the movement as well. Okay, so these are the three values we need to read from here. Everything else is temporary data. Well, it's variable data, but we need to load these values into our destination. So our destination was originally on flags. Now it's on the Y, so we can do DE here. These square brackets always say put the byte in to the location pointed to by here, rather than load the register with that value. For anybody who's wondering why those square brackets are there. And then again, we have to increment DE. And then it's basically the same down here to load X, but increase DE. But we now need to load X from, you got that one, Eldridge. You're on form tonight, Eldridge. So now we need to load accumulator from C, which is where we stored it. And then play a frame. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to store a single value in here, and we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that after we've dealt with this, because I think what we might need to do before we continue with anything else is add some kind of extra updates in here. So there'll be like an enemy update routine, which will be based on the enemy type. So it will take the value that's in B and the value of HL, and it will update all these vars depending on the enemy. And that may be things like frame number, direction, all the stuff that we need to animate the sprite around. But for now, we'll just put a random, well, not a random number, but we'll put a tile number in here. So I think if I put, well, what is this? This is going to be 16. So 10203040. So I think if I put 40 in here, we should see a triangle at that point. And this is, I'm going to do 1. Temporary advance HL by remainder, which is 5. So I'm going to load A with L. We're going to add 5 to A. Load L with A. H, add. One, 2, 3. Okay, we need to increment here as well. It's 4 bytes per metatile. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's correct. And all we need to do here is we just need to do a check here. So we're going to do an OR A again, which again, as I say, is like doing a compare A with 0 and jump if that is 0. So if the type is 0, we don't need to do anything. We'll jump to exit, which will be here. Otherwise, it is going to jump back to loop again. Okay, so set enemy sprite. So that means now in our main loop, we set player sprite here, set player sprite, call build sprite. So it has to happen before this call build sprites. So we'll put it into here. See what happens. And then I will take a quick break, but I'm just going to go and smoke this on my balcony. I'm not going to, well, I can't have a real cigarette because I haven't got any. I deliberately didn't buy any. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, cool. Now, for some reason, the player is in completely the wrong place. Let me just try that again. I wonder if the meta sprites is... Where is the player, actually? Interesting. Okay. Oh, set enemy sprites. That should be 1. That's why. There we go. Thought I'd already changed that, but maybe I changed it back while I was demonstrating. Cool. There we go. So we have a sprite up there. I mean, it doesn't do anything yet. It's got no. It's not falling. It's not doing anything at all, which would allow it to behave correctly. Now, the thing is the enemies in this game, they don't drop off platforms. So all they ever do is they turn when they reach the edges of things. That's it. That's all they ever do. With the exception of the bats who actually bounce off things. But other than that, they don't need to fall. So there's no kind of gravity check. Once they're placed on the ground, that's where they're going to be. Basically, they will just walk backwards and forwards based on that position. So we'll need to move this to somewhere where it will be on the ground probably because it's not going to fall down. But what I'll do is I'll go for a quick break now, and then when I come back, we'll start thinking about how to animate things based on the enemy type, and also clear as well because at the moment it's just going to stay on the screen. In fact, it's probably adding more than one every time. No, it's probably adding extra ones when I come back. No, I don't think it is adding extra ones because it resets back to the beginning again, but it's not clearing them when we move off the screen. So we'll make it clear when we move off the screen first. And then we'll work on actually animating it as well. All right, I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. Be right back. Let me press the break button. There we go. Back. Put some more in this. I'm sure I'm not using this right. I don't want it to run dry, but I also don't want it to just piss out fluid everywhere. Oh, turn that off. Oh, Andy, Andy, Andy. Oh no. Gutted. Gutted. Do you know what? I think there's something psychological about that. Well, actually, no, because with Thalamus, it was he guessed way too early. But yeah, I think when something like comes up, you just type so fast. You're like, oh, I know this. And you type so fast that you just mistype it. All right, let's get this kind of clear. So what we need is we need an enemy clear routine, which is pretty simple, which is just going to be clear enemies. And all we need to do is we need to loop through this many times. So I'm going to load B with that value. And I'm going to load A with 0. So this is the same as load A with 0. And we're going to load HL with enemy data. And we're going to load the contents of the accumulator into that location and increment this. And we're going to decrease B, jump if it's not 0, to loop, and return. Okay, so that's going to clear our enemies, nice and simple. So what we need to do now is at the beginning of a map load, whenever we enter a map load, we need to clear those values. So I just want to make sure I'm doing this in the right place. Okay, it looks like we can safely do it here because we've already loaded current screen here. C, however, okay, it should be fine though. Clear enemies does not use C, so. Okay, so what we should see now is when we go between screens, that only the screen with the enemy on it should display an enemy. So that's going to be this first one here and not this one, except it is showing. So that didn't do a thing. Okay. Clear enemies. Oh. You should be putting zeros in this. Ah, I know why. It's because as well as clearing the enemies, we also need to clear the meta sprites as well. So basically going to do the same thing again now, but here. Can't remember how many meta sprites we'd set up. 10. Okay, so this is another loop here. So I'm going to call this loop 2. And this time we need to accumulator can stay the same. It's already loaded to 0 here, but we need to change B to 9 times 4, which is how many meta sprite pieces of information there are. So so this is an interesting tune. Okay, so we've got a sprite there, no sprite there. Cool, so that's working perfectly. So you can see the sprite's only available on this screen here. Okay, let's move this sprite down now into a sensible location. So I think this is where the sprite actually starts here. So let's move it down. I'm going to say 24. Where is that dating again? So this is our Y here. So let's put it down to 96. Just want to get it on the floor, and then we've got the rest of it is kind of easy to deal with. Then it looks sorry, the rest of it's easy to do with. It'll look correct. Yes, this is fine here. This is exactly where it should be. Actually, no, it should be a little bit lower because this is supposed to be a shadow. This line here, so I'm going to move it down by 1. It wasn't a bad guess though, was it? Cool. There we go. All right. So next thing I want to do is sort a palette out for this as well. So I'd already come up with a palette in here for it, which actually isn't relevant anymore. It doesn't save palettes. Right. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at the palettes in here. So let's have a look at Vram viewer palettes. Okay, so we have palette 1, which is our original Game Boy Colors, which is going to be the fallback that we go to. But it's not the value we want right now. Oh, we can change these values though. That's good. Okay, let's go and have a look for the sprite palettes in here. So first of all, let's set a palette color in here of 2. And let's go and have a look in wherever those palettes would be. Palette info, no, it's not that one. Is it initialize? Sprite palettes, here we go. Yes, here we go. So these are our palettes, so sure I'm spelling palette wrong, but whatever. Andy on form with his mod in there. Thank you, Andy. Needs updating. What needs updating? Oh yes, good point. Actually, I'll make a note of that. Yeah, because so for those who don't know, for quite a while my Patreon was just PDFs and just kind of support for the channel. So pissed off right now off of not getting that nighttime. But now Patreon includes access to well, semi-exclusive access to the Checkanoid stream videos. So the Checkanoid stream videos will stay on Twitch for about a week, and then after that, they'll only be available on YouTube until they're about 3 months old, and then they'll be made public on YouTube as well. And this is just a way for me to give back to the patrons, basically, for supporting me and supporting the channel. I like to put as much of the money back into the channel or into my stomach via the method of alcohol as possible. I would like to keep putting a larger proportion of it into the channel rather than into my liver. Into my stomach, yeah. Yeah, if you want to support France, Chile, New Zealand, and Australia and Argentina, then just donate to my channel because we keep those countries afloat. So I'm drinking a lot of this tonight. Okay, so we need to create a new palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this up now. I'm just going to put the mono palette in here for now. And then hopefully we should see it in the mono. There we go. Right, and now I'm going to do, I say mono, it's still 4 colors. What we can do is we can go in here and we can play around with the palettes. So let's have a look. So this is the palette I want to change. I want this to be a gray color, so I'm going to change these values like so to like a gray color, which is about right. And then I want this to be a light gray color, so I'm going to go 1.4 here. Like so, and then this is like a cyan color in the main game, so that would be actually, how would you do cyan? Cyan is blue and green, isn't it? So no red, maximum blue. Yeah, that's kind of nice, I think. Cool. And then I've got these values here now, which I can read and copy into here. So 1061 is correct. Just going to move this onto the screen so I can see it while I type. Otherwise, it's going to disappear. So 1061, 1CE7, 7B00, 5294. Now, obviously, this palette is going to change based on the type. So this is something we'll have to do as well shortly. In fact, we could probably do that based on, because we're forcing a palette here. Maybe we should be grabbing all the data first and then transferring it. Let's go ahead and do that, actually. Let's move this down here. There we go. So we're grabbing the type, we're grabbing the X, and we're grabbing the Y, and these values are coming from the map data. Well, actually, they're coming from the map data, which has now been copied into enemy data area. So type will end up. Actually, type's ended up nowhere. We should probably copy that into somewhere. Oh, it is. It's been copied into B. So I'm just going to put in brackets here. So that becomes register B. That becomes register C. Register A, which we already have. So we could grab the palette from here based on the value that's in B. Okay, so let's do. I feel like this is inefficient though. Hang on. So B contains a type, but maybe we can just add some value to it. Because how many types of enemies are? Let me open up the original sprites. It's not the original sprites. Where did that go? There we go. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of enemy. There's the key and there's the extra lives. So that's 7 types of enemy. Because we're going to count keys and extra lives as those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 enemies, 8 palettes, and then the player sprite. Okay, so using the type just as a direct reference is probably not ideal. But what we can do instead is we can use this to look up a value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enemy palettes. So we're going to create an array here of enemy palettes. And this is obviously the first one is going to be 0 because if an enemy is of type 0, it's not going to have a palette. And then because it doesn't exist. And then the first one is going to be this palette too. So we'll put this in here and then we'll see if changing these around will change things. Thanks for the follow. I am Chiranko. Welcome to the stream, dude. Okay. So we want to recreate this color here simply by looking it up. Instead of just loading it directly like this, we're going to look it up in this list here. Which means I need to grab the location of this. I did. Wasn't there a way to align this now? I cannot remember. No, completely forgot how to do this now. Is it align? Oh, that seems to work. I want to see where that appears now because is it that simple? I feel like that's going to throw an error. Yeah. I've been through this before, haven't I? And I couldn't figure it out. 7 other go. Align offset. While a line is presented sections are useful, sometimes you don't want a particular piece of data in the middle of a section to be aligned. This is made easier through the use of a mid-section align offset. As it's align lower bits. What? Oh, okay. So this would be like so, for instance. So this is saying put the lower 3 bytes of this address to 0. Okay. No, that doesn't work either. Talking shit. Maybe it's just like that. No, also doesn't work. Does this have to be like that? No, align does not work. I'm sorry, but I don't know where they think that deep that information is wrong. If anybody does know how to do this, please let me know. Because in a moment, I don't want to waste all my time reading through this. Midsection align. I thought it was Terminator. Midsection align directive. But it doesn't tell me exactly how to use it. It just says it you can align. Oh, hang on. Align. What is this file? I'm not going to spend much longer on this. Huh. It's just showing me my own videos now. That's I didn't know how to do it on episode 1, so I don't know why you pointed me to that. Okay, and I don't think I can do what was it? There was like an align somewhere else, wasn't there? Was it in sets maybe? No. Yeah, that's the one I've just added in. What's this one? Yeah. So this is the other piece of code that does the alignments. But this is to do with sections, so maybe I can do something like that. Let's put it down here. Put it in ROM 0 and move the palettes down. See, that works. That's annoying. But I don't want to have to do that every time I want to use a line. That's ridiculous. In fact, it can't even find that. I'm not even sure it's done it. Enemy's code. Yeah, I don't see this enemy palettes appearing anywhere. Shall I mention his Mega 65? Oh, I have now because you said it. I only mention it when people mention it to me mostly. I'll admit it, you're excited as well. You want to see what stuff I can do with that. Okay. Andy Monday Night, it says making an empty Game Boy run. Okay. We're not obsessed. Oh no, I'm obsessed. Hey, when you pay that much money for a dev kit, you become obsessed by it. I'm not seeing anything that's going to help me there, Andy. So, no align anyway. Hang on, let me search for a line instead of reading through it. No. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste time on that. It's really frustrating that that's not reading properly. Hey OGs, welcome to the stream, dude. Also, welcome Thalamis. I just got straight out of the gate on the defensive. Damn, that is so annoying. Okay, I'm just gonna try loading in the value from that location just to see if it will actually show up in the output, in the console output when I build. But stinging bullets, yeah, yeah, you were. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. Not seeing anything there now, so okay, I seem to have killed that sprite. We'll come back to that in a second. For now, I just want to see if I can. I'd really like to get this thing aligned. Enemy palettes. Oh, it has aligned it, and look, it's been quite smart about it actually. Always align your data. Use align. Yes. He's aligned the align. Wait, what? Where have you got? Is that from that page? Because I'm not seeing that. And I tried that and it didn't work. But what I've just noticed is aligning those bytes has actually filled it in at the beginning of RAM somewhere. Okay, let me have a look at that one. Wait, this is ARM though. This isn't GB Z80. This is ARM. Damn it! You got my hopes up then. I mean, it's fine. I think I've got it working with this. And what it's kind of smartly done is it's moved the palettes into a lower area of memory because they fit nice and neatly into that slot down there. So it's kind of all right in a way. It's a bit strange, but it will do. What I am going to do though is I'm going to move them up to the top of the file because it's a little bit awkward to kind of look at them down there. So what am I working on today? So working on Gameboy Z80 version of Gameboy Color version written in Gameboy Z80. Oh my god, of my C64 game from last year, Dot Cosmos. And today working on getting the enemy sprites into the game and working correctly, which I kind of had working, but now it's not showing up. There should be a sprite here and it's not showing up now, so I just need to double check that these values are correct. Okay, so it's because the Y position is being battered here, that's why. Okay, this is fine. What I'm gonna actually do here, I'm gonna use the stack to do these. So actually no, the stack's probably not ideal either because I need to grab Y and then X. Oh, actually no, it probably is all right. Well, I just need that one really. So if I just push that one on, and then Is it pop AF? Yeah. And that just restores that one. There we go. Right, that should bring back that sprite now. Is my cart load of stuff on GitHub? There is a version on GitHub. I think in the oh god, good question. Check out the McDraw XYZ. If that's not up to date, I can I will in fact what I'll probably do before Thursday stream is I'll take the latest cart loader library that I've created, like updated for Checknoid, because it does have a few other tiny little functions in it which might be useful for you guys. And I'll deposit that in a GitHub somewhere, because it's kind of standalone. You don't there's nothing in it relating to Checknoid. It's just kind of it'll be in the dissect streams bitmap cartridges or something. Hang on, let me see if I can find a link. It's probably out of date though, because I have made a few minor changes to discard bitmaps, episode 24. I have made some minor changes to the cart loader to support easy flash, and to support using banking as a quick way to just bank in 8K of memory to use for other things. So that version, while it will work, the version that I've got checking on is a bit more up to date. So I'll create that into a separate repo somewhere, because it is kind of useful, and it is something I want to use in all my games moving forward. Because it also has disk support as well. So okay, I didn't actually check if that worked. Then close all windows. Got distracted. Okay, yeah, there it is. It's using the wrong palette now, because it's using the player palette, but it is actually picking a palette up based on something in this location here. So now what we need to do is we can use type is put into B. Okay, so if I put that into C, then BC becomes actually, how am I going to do this? I need to think about this. I kind of need to save that value and get it back again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the accumulator with the contents of C, right? Oh, B, actually, because that's what we had here. Then I'm going to load BC with our enemy palettes. And then I'm going to OR the accumulator, which is our enemy type, against C, and then I'm going to load that into C again. So what that's going to do is it's going to turn on the bits of whatever enemy type it has. So 0 to 7 it's going to be. And as I say, 0 means there's no enemy, and then 1 to 7 is going to be the 5 enemies, the extra life, and the key. And then it's going to pick a palette based on those. So actually, I think this actually needs to be 4 bits, not 3. The reason for that is because there's 3 key types. So I'm going to align it to 4. It's going to give me 4 bytes instead, 4 bits instead. And now at this point, we can load the accumulator with BC, which is going to give us the actual palette that we need to use. Okay, so load correct palette. Let's try that out. So hopefully now we should get the cyan thing, which we do, which is awesome. Uh, Now notice that this is the weird thing with the Game Boy, the way the sprite priorities work. So sprite priorities are based on positional left to right, and based on sprite number as well. So it's not like you can just make in order to make these sprites appear behind each other, you would have to do some kind of masking. However, you shouldn't be in a position where you're in that, like that. You'd be dead at this point. So it's not a problem. The closest you're going to come to that is picking up a key, picking up a heart, and then it's just a case of as soon as you're close enough, you'll pick it up. But yeah, you can see there the sprite priorities are really weird on the Game Boy. Not a lot I can do about that though, unfortunately. I'm sure there are probably some tricks that the coders use, but I don't know any of them. We kind of sometimes take for granted what the Commodore 64 does for us with sprites. They're definitely, in my opinion, the best hardware sprites on any kind of 8-bit machine of the era. Incredibly powerful, loads of kind of cool little bugs and things that make it, like the cookie cutter bug that well, I don't even know if it's a bug or if it's just a kind of side effect of the way that the Vic renders priority. Not as good as the Mega City. You're a wind-up merchant, you Thalamus. You really are. But you are correct. They are not as good as the Mega 65 sprites. Indeed. Actually, they're very close anyway. They are basically just C64 sprites, but with more colours. That's it. It takes the heat off me, Creatures 3. Better than the Amiga. Yeah, better than some 16-bit platforms as well. That's the crazy thing. The only downside to the Commodore 64 is it doesn't have hardware multiplexing built in like the NES does, and like the I think the PC Engine has it as well. Shame really. But yeah, I mean ST is better though. I think your definition of better is wrong in all senses of the ST. Okay, right. So now we've got that. Let's try adding another palette in and see if that works. So I'm just going to up the value here to 3. See if that picks a different palette. Should do. Which it has done. I mean, obviously the palette is disgusting, but it's because we've not defined it yet. But there, we can define a palette based on the type now. So let's put some notes in here to say palette number for each type of enemy. So as I say, we're going to use keys and extra lives as enemies. They're not really enemies, but they're going to behave in a very similar way. The only difference is going to be that instead of dying when you hit them, you're going to gain something when you hit them. But the code is pretty much the same for them as the enemies. They will spawn like enemies. They will be positioned like enemies. The collision against the player will work like enemies. So we may as well just keep them in the enemy code. And all the only difference that changes is on a positive collision, instead of dying, you will pick the item up. Now, which leads us to another thing. We're going to have to put item memory in as well. So in the same way we had the memory for the memory for doors, we're going to need something similar for keys and extra lives as well. We'll just apply it to all enemies. But essentially it's only ever going to be the keys and the hearts that get removed. But we will deal with that when we get to that. So that will probably be on the next stream when we deal with picking up keys and extra lives. Okay, so the next job in that case is to start animating these things. So when we do set enemy sprites, we're skipping over these 5 pieces of data here. And we're just setting a tile number here. Now, what we probably should be doing is grabbing that tile number from inside this data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an initialize enemy. Oh, this is barbarian. Yeah, I thought so. and update enemy. So initialize enemy is going to be called whenever an enemy is created. So as soon as this piece of code is run here, we're going to jump to initialize enemy. And that's at the moment we're skipping the var data, but that is where we're going to actually do it instead. So what have we got? What do we need to store at this point? Let's just keep an eye on what we've got in here. So we've got HL and DE. Those need to remain the same. So we can't use HL in here, and DE is used here. HL we need to leave alone. So we may push it to the stack, but we definitely need to leave that. DE needs to have advanced by 5 at the end of this method, which is what this is doing. This says it's advancing by 5. Okay, so this is where the next stuff comes in. So let's make this actually contain 16 bytes. So we're also, as well as having enemy palettes in here, we're going to have what would you call it? Enemy animations, I guess. That's what they are, right? So this is going to be based on types as well. Now, rather than waste... actually, I need to think about how these animations work. I can't remember. I've got them in here. Maybe I have. Oh, I have, actually. Cool. Okay, so actually, these enemies here, and this one here, actually, all 3 of these enemies just have 3 frames of animation. This one has 4, this one has 2 and is directional. This one needs to pause at the end. So this is based on various things like how when the drop is falling down, it just stays as a big drop, and then it stays as a drop as it goes all the way down to the bottom. And then when it hits the ground, it does this, then it disappears for a little bit, then it respawns. This one jumps up and then jumps down, so the frame it picks is based on direction. So, but there's never more than 4 frames of animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an animation list for each enemy type. So this is type 0, which means there is nothing here. And 0 will indicate we're at the end of the animation. So with our little rotating thing, oh, actually now this is an interesting one. This needs to go in different directions. If it's going that way, it needs to do that. Otherwise, it needs to do the opposite direction. Okay, but that's fine. Need to think about this, actually. Okay, no, I'm not going to do it like this. What I'm going to do is in here, when we initialize the enemy, the first thing we're going to add in, which I'm going to put into here. So enemy stage or index. So this is basically going to be the default kind of value that we're going to use to determine which frame of animation we should be showing. It's not going to decide which the next frame of animation, it's only what the current frame of animation is. Then byte 4 we'll use as a timer. So this is anim or stage timer. This value is basically going to tick down to 0. When it hits 0, then something will be updated in this list here. And then that means we can deal with each enemy individually in different ways. So what we'll do is we'll jump to a different function depending on which enemy it is, and then that will be like the behaviors, so to speak. Okay, so in that case, what do we need to do? We probably need to reset these values. So I'm going to do this by filling these values with 0 in here. So this is how we're currently setting these values here. We don't need to increment HL, so we'll leave that as it is. We'll load the accumulator with 0. But we do need to store it and increment this value here. So I'm going to load B with 5. Okay, so the initialization here is really not doing very much at the moment, but this is just because it's resetting these values. And then on the update, we will check the enemy type and we'll jump to the relevant routine based on that. Which we'd normally do with the jump table, but I don't think we can do that in this. I don't think there's an indirect jump. So we're just going to have to do a big old kind of switch statement almost. Okay, that's fine. So now we're resetting these variables. Good night, Steve. Thanks for joining the stream, dude. Okay. I haven't had a cigarette since the last one I had on Saturday night. And I don't feel too bad, actually. I mean, I've only got this today as well, so I did all of Sunday and all of Monday without nicotine at all. Real Z80 has jump HL. Oh, really? Wait, and does that not exist in? Oh my god, that would be really cool if that exists, because then I can use jump tables. Okay, so this is our instruction set. Load jumps. Ah. Okay, we can. We do have it. We have jump HL. Cool. Why don't you know? Yeah, indeed. Why don't you know? Yeah, 1999 is a bit far for me. Not having a cigarette since Sunday is about fine. Can you claw back some AMK points to cover my earlier shame? Yeah, but not enough. I think you lost about 10,000 by mistyping that. I mean, that's some seriously fat fingers to type that wrong. So Andy Magic Knight Salamus got his game, or a game from his series that he worked on with Bassitronic, knew the answer and typed it with a typo. So he's joined the club of missing out on scoring on his own on a game he should know better. But at least he waited for the picture before he answered. Not like Great Guyana Sisters instead of creatures. That was because it was hilarious. It had me in stitches. Um, I think I've got a few people those now. Hayes's was good as well. Hayes has played all the Last Ninjas, and Last Ninja Remix came up, and he put Last Ninja 2 in, and then realized it was Last Ninja Remix, but too late. Oh god. Ooh, that was strong. Okay, right. So unsubscribe. So all we need now is update enemies. So we can make a jump table, which is cool. Need to think about how easiest to do this. Okay, so uh, it's as simple as this, actually. Enemy jump table. And then a list of... can I do DW? I can. Freaking brilliant. Okay. Okay, so enemy type 0 update, which is just going to be blank. So actually, I'll just put there, and then it'll be... And this will be kind of like this. So I'm just going to put a couple of enemies in here. Basically, only one of them is going to have any code in it right now, but okay, so to update the enemies, actually, it should be enemies, not enemy, because this needs to go through them all. So we start with our pointer into enemy data here. So we're going to load HL with our enemy data here. This is our loop. And to think about this. Okay, so I need to load in the type, and that is all I need to load in. So the first value from here. So I'm going to load the accumulator with the first value from HL. I'm not going to touch. I'm not going to increment the value in HL. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to, because I want these updates to have full access to the 8 bytes that come after this value. So in fact, because we're going to use HL as our jump address, we're going to use DE here, like so. So this is just loading in the type here. If that type is 0, then we've finished. So we need to do an OR to compare it, and this is where we exit here. However, if it's not 0, then now we need to load HL with our values. So what we're going to do is we're going to load HL with our enemy jump table, and then we're going to add L to the accumulator. Hang on, I need to align this a bit more as well. I'm going to align it 5, like so. It's 4, 4, 5. Yeah, that should be fine. Where's it gone? So now our accumulator contains the location of enemy jump table plus L, but then I need to do it again. So I need to add twice. The reason I need to add twice is because I need a word, not a byte. So I need to add. Actually, can I do that? Can I do add AA? I hope so. I hope that doubles the value in the accumulator. I think it will. Who got that? Steps. Chaotic Creatures remix. I think I can do that. I think that will double the value. And then if I put that back into L, now I should be able to do that. However, I don't want to just do that. So enemy direct call, which I'm going to do here. I'm going to do jump HR. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because these are all going to have returns in them, like so. And this is a jump, not a call. So unless there is a call HL, which would make things a lot easier, but I doubt it somehow. Jump, jump. Call. Oh, what's that? Oh, condition. Turn on condition. Okay, no, it's fine. Jump HL will do fine. This is why we're going to have this in here. So this is our indirect call here. So now we can just do call enemy indirect call, which will jump to this function, which will then jump to whichever HL is pointing to, which should be one of these. And then when it returns, it will return back to here again. Okay. Copyright Andy Magic Note. So we will need to I'm actually going to push DE here, and then that frees us up to do whatever the hell we can do whatever we want in this function. Then it doesn't matter, and all I have to do here is pop DE, accumulate with E, add accumulate at 8. With D. Okay, so that should, in theory, jump into this routine here. And at this point, DE is pointer to the enemy's 8 bytes of data. So now we've got access into this just for that one enemy, and so we can start looking at changing things in here. Okay, so let me put the update enemies into the main loop, and we'll just put a very basic basic thing in here. So we've got play control, play jump and fall, blah blah blah, and then set enemy sprites. So let's do update before we set the sprites. That should be enough. Build sprites should always happen after everything's been set. Let's just try and separate these a little bit so they make sense. This is all setting the player sprites, collision. We don't have any collision really on the enemies, not in the same way we have collision on the player. It's very controllable collision, so that should be fine. Okay, let's do some basic updates in here. So we've got one enemy, it's of type 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increment DE to get to the Y. So we're currently on this one, so increment is going to take us to here, increment again is going to take us to here. So I'm going to do that twice, and then I'm going to load the accumulator with the contents of the. In fact, can I bet I can't increment. Can I increment the contents of DE, or do I have to increment stock operations? No. Increment, no, I can only increment the contents of HL. Okay, so that's fine. Just going to do this. Okay, so all this is going to do, hopefully, is update the Y position of that enemy. Okay, something horribly gone wrong here. I don't have an enemy type 5. I'm going to get rid of all of them. Don't need them until I actually get to it. Okay. Okay. Why is it stopping there? That's interesting. Or is that because I'm... Hang on. Break on load BB. Break on invalid opcode. Ah, that's what it's going to be, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so what's the invalid opcode? I bet it's this one. Okay, that's fine. All that means is before I come into A, I just need to double the value that's in A. So, and I can never remember any of these bitwise operations, so I'm going to go and have a look. It's going to be shift left arithmetic A, shift left arithmetic register. Yeah, so SLAA. Oh, something seems off now. Something seems off. The update enemies is doing some weird stuff, I think, here. So just turn off the update enemies in here. Just make sure that's what's doing it. I'm pretty sure it is, but yeah, okay. Okay, so for some reason that function is causing us an issue. Let's have a look. So it should just be loading the enemy data, calling the indirect call. Okay, let's just turn that indirect call off. Okay, something to do with the indirect call. We should jump to here. If I put a break in there, does it actually get to that? Do I have to do that? Can't remember how this works now. Nope. Oh, it's freaking same reason I hate Python. One of the reasons I hate Python. Okay, it doesn't seem to be updating the right code. I think it might be jumping somewhere else here. So let's have a look. Let's see what happens. Let's put the breakpoint up here. Let's step through this code. He means he loves Python. I really don't. I absolutely hate it. Okay, HL is point to 0172. Okay, so what is 0172? 0172 is 146B, which is here. Okay. Ah, but let's jump into. Hang on, do I need to do brackets HR? I think I've done something wrong here. Does it have to be that? Jockoing. Ah, damn, that's not having it. That's really not having it. Ah, okay. Okay, so what's happening here? I don't know. You probably can't see this actually in the code, which is in the debugger, which is a bit annoying. I wish I could make that bigger. I really do. I can make that bigger, but I can't actually make the text any bigger. Debug. Oh, hang on. Font. Here we go. Oh, that doesn't help at all. Oh yeah, it does. There we go. We can fix it. My God. Okay, let's put that right up. Oh God, you can see the debugger. You did say that. Did day that? I'll take your first word. Said day. Okay, well, at least that's something. So this is the breakpoint. This is the function when it's jumping to the next opcode, which says jump to the contents of HL. HL is pointed to 0172, and 0172 is here, and that's pointing to 146B, which is this line right here. So really, it should just be jumping straight down onto the next line. But what's happening is it's jumping to 0172, and then it's going running whatever that code is there, which looks like font copy code, which is why it's slowing down like crazy. So something wrong there. I want to check my Z80 because I want to check the opcode number that it's using, because I feel like that opcode number is wrong for some reason. So we've got jump. Just move that out of the way. Okay, jump HL. The HL is in brackets, but it's E9, which I saw was the correct value. So let me reload the wrong. F9. This is here. See here, it says E9. E9 is the value here, so it's just not behaving the same. So Game Boy Z80 doesn't behave the same. So oh yes, fucking hell! I'm just being dumb, aren't I? I'm being stupid. Because I'm getting the address of the enemy jump table. Ah, fucking hell. Yeah, I'm being stupid. I'm being really stupid. Yeah, I'm being stupid. Thanks, Andy. 1 AMK points. Okay, so now I have BC. If I do it this way round, BC is the address I want to go to. But I can't check. Can I transfer it directly? And H with B. I can't. Okay. Load L with C. Hang on, there's got to be an easy way of doing this. If I just did. Do BC here. It's a bit better. Yeah, I've just been stupid. Something's still not right, but let me check. I think it's along the right lines now. PC enemy jump table, add commit to C, load C back with A, push DE up to the stack, because that's what we need up here. Call enemy direct call, load H with B, load L with C. Okay, this should be fine. Okay, so BC is pointing to 0172. Oh, hang on, we're doing it again. I'm making the same freaking mistake here. Making the same fucking mistake. Right, that's it. That's it. Got it this time. Indirect addressing, man. Just give me a proper mode for it, for God's sake. Okay, so BC is 0172. So then I should hopefully be able to load whatever the address was again. 1470. So we should see the value 70 first. Yes, store that in HL. 1470. There we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, I noticed that in the manual it did have that. I don't understand why they went for a cut down version. Maybe it was a licensing thing, or although I can't. I mean, you consider how cheap Z80 machines were. It seems unlikely that was the case. There we go. So now we have a behavior that's working for that sprite now. Okay. Oh, who's gonna get this one? Depths. This is quick enough. Yeah, power consumption, I guess. But I mean, come on, they've already done so many things which are probably better at saving power than that. Okay. So next job is to make this animate properly. So instead of just moving down the screen now, we're going to make it animate. And because this is now in a separate function here, we can have data that's just related to this function quite easily. God, that's annoyed me that took me so long. Oh, I mean, look how many instructions it is as well to do it. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, ignoring the push and pop here, it's too many instructions. Whereas on a C64, you can just double that value and use it as a lookup into a jump table using indexed addressing and jump tables. All right, so what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and take a quick 5-minute break. Going to go and smoke this on the balcony a little bit, get some fresh air. I say fresh air. It's going to be, what is this, cherry cola flavored air. And then when I come back, we'll change this routine to actually animate a sprite. So rather than just have it moving down the screen, we'll actually get it to do the sprite animation, and then we'll add direction in and stuff. So, all right, I'll be back in 3 or 4 minutes, guys. Be right back. Good game. It just leaked on me massively again, so I had no idea how to use these fucking things. That's why I always bought these ones, because they were less leaky. The shit. I can't win. This is why I end up smoking. Okay, enemy type 1 update. Cool. So I can actually put stuff in here now that's just related to this enemy and nothing else. So we can put in here, cool, enemy frame. Okay, so we're not going to deal with the X and Y just yet. Let's make that the last thing on the list, because we also want and then B6 will probably be, I'll decide what that is in a minute, but this is going to be the general kind of gist of what we're trying to do. Okay, so we're going to skip over actually that's going to be here. Type we actually don't need at this point, so like they're all going to start with incrementing DE when we come in here, pretty much. With the exception of keys, we might point keys all to the same area, the same update, and then use the type to decide what happens when we pick that up. So that's positional. Enemy stage index. Okay, I am going to suggest actually that these two should be swapped around. And the reason for that is because the first thing you want to do is check the timer. Then if the timer has hit a value, then you know to update the stage index here. So let's put the values in brackets here so I know. Okay, so we're going to load the accumulator with contents of DE. And if that is, actually we need to decrease that. Oh no, actually we need to check first because it's going to start at 0. So jump to 0, reset timer. Okay, let's get rid of all of this now. So if it is 0, we reset the timer. Otherwise, we decrease the value in A and we store that back in DE. And timer done here. Most of this is going to be copied from enemy behavior to enemy behavior, so it doesn't matter if it's too over the top right now. Okay, timer done. Reset the timer. So this timer value is going to be set based on the enemy type they're in. So this in this case, we're just going to set a value like 5 or something like that. And we're going to store that in DE. And that's the timer over with. So we can now increment DE and we move on to the next thing, which is our enemy stage index. So now, actually, we want this to be part of here. So we're going to increment it here. And if the timer is done, then actually none of these things will update. So, or actually none of the, I almost feel like we need to load these into somewhere else, but it's fine. I think we can. Actually, I'm going to use direction as well here. So I'm going to put that into 3, into 4. It's just a matter of, because we don't have indexes, it's a matter of arranging this data in a way that kind of makes sense when we go to read it. So direction is kind of related to the X and Y. So I'm going to make sure that that's dealt with up here as well. And then we're just in animation stages here. And actually animation stage is really to do with the last bit. So let's move that down to here. Because this is just to do with whether or not we show a new frame or not. So actually the timer should probably be 6 here. And enemy stage would be 7 here. Which means we can do stage and mist would be here, which is going to be 4 and 5. So we need to increment 2 here to get past those bits. We're just dealing with the animation first, so. I accidentally won 80,000 on Mayhem. How did you manage that? You bet too much and he just won. Oh, I don't know why. I should have the race on 10 minutes. I don't know why it's gone back to that. I'll put another race on. There you go. One too many zeros. Oh well, could be worse. You could have lost it. Um, let's have a look. So, oh, nice. Yeah, IO's a good game as well. Is Grid Runner in this quiz? I couldn't tell you offhand. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. IO is going to be. It would have made a good Thalamus game, actually. Okay, so timer, yes. So timer done. Basically, reset timer, increment DE. Store accumulator in DE. DE here. DE for enemy stage as well. So then enemy stage is just a matter of taking the value. So I need to comment these things. So this is time interval. And this will be load accumulator with the contents of DE. A compare A to this case 3, which is like the max stage frame. And if that is the same, so if it's not the same, to skip. Otherwise, load accumulator with 0. And then 0, then at skip we can load that back into DE. So that's now going to advance through 3. Oh no, this is not stage, this is sprite frame, for fuck's sake. Okay. Max stage frame. Okay, so our frame here is 40, 42, 44, 46 would be the end one here. So 46, otherwise 40, and that needs to be doubled. And that should give us, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, reset timing, yeah, 7, 8. There we go. So that gives us 8 updates there, which means now when we do the sprite update in here, update enemies, set enemy sprites. So here we should be able to just load that value in. So we're loading in enemy data, and we are getting type X and Y. And what is this one? So hang on. HL. So HL's +3 here. Okay, cool. So here what I need to do is rather than do all this basically. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So +7 should give this the enemy frame, and I can just do HL. there, and then I just need to do another HL here. All right, it's quite a lot of code. Ooh, interesting. Not what I was expecting. It's a COVID doc. A very COVID doc. Okay. Okay, first of all, let's sort the palette out, because that was wrong, so that should now be that one. Okay. Now, the question is, why is it picking up that number? Are these not loaded in where I think they're loaded in? Am I just getting my offsets wrong? Oh, that's a lot of windows open. Let's close all of those. I think I get my offsets wrong. That's all it is. Oh no, 40 is here. Why is it drawing this one up here then? Am I just loading the wrong numbers in maybe? I'm probably incrementing too far. That's probably what it is. Hang on. Or not far enough. So in not in that, in here. So D is our meta sprite, which is fine. Which is what this is here. But HL. So it starts at 0, then this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that should be that anyway. Is that just wrong? Is that just wrong there? Is that what that is? Andy and Candyland. Okay, HL is 1D5, 6. I haven't incremented far enough for some reason. That doesn't make any sense. Right, by 1, 2, 3. So we should be on 3 at this point. 4, 5, 6, 7. Why is that not incremented far enough? I mean, I can put another one in, but I don't think that's... I feel like that's giving me... HL D157, which is now freaking correct. Brilliant. Oh, D1 for F. So I was right. Of course, it's not aligned. It's not aligned in here, so that's why. Not that that matters in here at all. So this was correct. So let's go and have a look at that area memory. So D1 for F is this bit here, and this is saying, okay, a sprite of type 1. It's got an X and a Y of these locations. Direction is unused currently. Its stage and its index are unused currently. The stage timer is FF. Okay, so that's gone back around. So I think that's the problem. It's not being set, whereas it should be being set immediately. The whole point of setting them to 0 is that immediately it should pick it up. And here is the problem. So you've got to compare your values. And if we go back to that same location, well, I mean, it's put a value of 02 for the sprite frame, which is wrong, but at least it's put a value in there now. D156. Let's just see what happens there. yeah, I mean, it's just give me a different sprite frame, but it's almost there. It's just the calculation for the sprite frame is wrong, and that's because the the sprite frame has started at 0. So what I actually need to do is I also need to do a check here. Cool. Need to get rid of that breakpoint now, though. Cool. All right, let's get rid of the breakpoint, and we should be good now. Cool, and we can change that value now to match match the speed that we want. It's a bit slower than that it should be. The other thing we'll need to do is make sure that it can run backwards as well. So I'll do that in a second. It's a bit too slow now. It needs to be a little bit quicker than that. So that's it. There we go. Okay, so now I just need to make sure it can go the other way as well. And that is basically a check here. So when we get the direction, which is the third byte here, we'll store that in. I'll store it in B. It's fine to use. Defender of the Crown. Good, you got that one. Acmafin, very quick. Everybody answered that though, pretty much. It's a lot to type though, so I'm sure people like Andy Magic Knight probably type Crown. I was waiting for the response. Oh, your lag isn't too bad tonight. Cool. Right. So to go backwards, what we'll need to do here, which is no longer enemy stage, this is enemy frame. We'll do a check here now. So what we'll do is we'll load the accumulator with B, which is our direction. And if it's 0, well, actually, we need to set it to either 1 or -1. Now, interestingly, I can't remember if those enemies always walk the same direction when they spawn. I think they do. So I'm going to assume that they do. And in here, leave HR, push to start. Okay, right. So this is where we initialize an enemy. So now I'm going to change this again to just do this manually. So this is the extra 5 data. So this is direction. Which I'm going to set to 1. And this means I can mess around with the data here then individually. Again, this would probably be a jump table, so we can set it up based on individual enemies. But for now, we'll set this up. I'll just do it like this for now. It's not ideal, but I don't know what this is. Kind of happy tune. Yeah, it is a. It's a. Sounds like a bubble bobble tune or something. Okay, so here we can do jump if. Oh, do we have a negative condition? Oh, I've never actually considered that. Do we have to just compare the byte? I can't believe I've not needed that so far. No, so condition codes are 0 or if carry set. Okay, so we're going to have to test the bit. So if we do this, we can test a bit. So we do bit accumulator. Shit, can we do bit on B directly? Bit. Okay, we can test against an 8-bit register, so we don't even need to load the accumulator here. So what we can do is we can test bit 7 of B. And jump if non-zero negative. So actually, this is. I think the sprite actually moves in the negative direction anyway. God damn it! All right, let's see. Oh, it's completely the wrong frame. So positive would be here, and this would be jump timer done here. And then basically this is the other way around. So here we're just going to decrease the value. So reset frame is going to actually be 44 here. And we're comparing to 3E. This would be skip 2, so we reset frame 2. We don't need that jump line anymore. Okay, so hopefully this is as if the sprite was moving this way across the screen. So in a positive X direction across the screen is what we're looking at here. Which is correct. Awesome. Right. Okay. So now we have the animation working for that sprite. Save, save, save. Oh, that's I like that. Well, yeah, let's get that saved. There we go. Thank you. Offender of the Clown. that would be a great game. Oh, Defender of the Clown. Awesome. What time are you going to go tonight? I don't know. I'd like to get this enemy at least doing its collision stuff as well. So maybe another hour or so. Uh, no, it can't. It can't be late. I was so tired today because I didn't sleep very well last night. I need to not do that tonight. I need to actually sleep at a reasonable time. It was like must have been 5 a.m. when I got to sleep. I always say that. Yeah, it's because I don't sleep very well at all. I need to at least make an effort. Although saying that, I'm sat here drinking Coke, so it's probably not going to help my quest very well. All right, let's try reversing the direction. So let's change that to -1. Hopefully, we should see it as if it was going the other direction now, which it is, which is kind of cool. And it's not an illusion, is it? That is definitely going that way because I know sometimes you get these animations that go the way you want to see them going. Like there's one with like a ballerina spinning around, and you can make it look like it's going both ways. And then this is actually going that way. Okay, that's good. It's going left. Yeah, good. Okay. If you quit smoking, you might be getting sugar cravings. That's quite common. Yeah, that's kind of why I've gone for a sweet vape juice. I've gone for like a cherry cola vape juice because I know that I'm going to get those. Um, but I mean, I've quit before. I've gone months and months before without smoking, so I think I can do it. I need to get over the initial kind of craving, and then hopefully this will be enough. This thing will be enough, and then eventually I can kind of wean myself off the nicotine in these. And then it's just getting out of the habit of actually smoking something. Um, okay, right. Let's have a look. So, kind of feel like all the enemy updates should be in a separate file, but we'll keep them here for now. But we might move these to somewhere else eventually. Um, my brain is telling me to do it now, actually, while I can. Okay, let's move them now. So let's change this to enemy triangle update. And then in here, let's create a folder. I don't know why triangles are so scary, but they're in there, right? Oh yeah, my camera is good. Yeah, I don't know why that's like that. Hang on. There we go. That's better. Every time you smoke, you have to spend an hour doing Z80. Oh my god. Yeah, maybe I'm just slouching in my chair. Okay, let's so now with this file in place, I can make individual here. This doesn't need aligning anywhere, but I do need to load it in. So let's load that in here. What did I call that folder? I forgot now. Oh, enemies. So enemies / triangle. And then I just need to put that in. So I can leave the other routines in here for now until I need to move them. But I can. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I think I prefer that. Then it's in a nice neat place. All right, let's just make sure that works. Sweet. All right. So now let's actually make the thing move. So for now, let's just increase the X when it's moving in that direction. We'll deal with the collision after we've done that. So what does that mean we need to do? Okay, type is not useful, so this was always going to remain the same for this one. This is only going to be useful in the keys. Positional wise, we do need these things. Okay, so we actually don't need the Y. So this one we can ignore, but this one we're going to need. So let's load the accumulator with the contents of DE, and then let's load that into C because we're already using direction in here. Dick Tracy, Mr. G got that one. Famously incomplete game. So don't need the Y, so we can skip that. We do need the direction. Okay. Again, we don't need to do anything with stage or index here. This is kind of for other things. We don't need it in this one, so these are just going to be skipped over. But we do need to kind of update this value based on this value here, which means we also need to put it back here as well. So we're actually going to have to do some decrement in here to get back to this X value. but that's fine. It just means when we've done this calculation here, we're going to have to decrease DE. Actually, is there a better way of doing this? I could put direction before X and Y, but then not everything might have a direction like that. So, no, it's fine. This will be fine. This will be fine. This is just this is the punishment that the Game Boy has for not having index registers. This would be super easy with freaking index registers. Okay, so we've got a value in C, which is our X value, and we've got a value in B, which is our direction. So really, it's as simple as loading the accumulator with a value in C and adding to the accumulator the value that's in B. So now the accumulator contains our new X value. But to get to that X value, we need to decrease DE 3 times. And then we can store the accumulator back in that value. And then, of course, we need to let's put a note in here, update X with direction, keeping DE at correct points. So unfortunately, we do then need to increment this value again here. So now another way to do this might have been to store the value of DE in HL, which actually we can do. So, but can we do it directly? Can I do load H with D? Can, and I can do load L with E. Okay, that's going to be easier because now we can say that and get rid of all of this. Which also means I don't need to store it there either. Nor do I need to store, and we grab that, there we go. So pointer to X in HL. Let's put these in brackets, you know, these are registers. Which means here, I just need to load X with the contents of HL. Actually, can I add... add A to add A with the contents of HL. Add the byte container equals the flag to A. Okay, so I can actually just do this. Oh, actually no. I'd have to do load accumulator with B like that. There we go. Okay, moving too fast now. So we can do this based on the timer down here. Oh God. Okay. But that means we don't need to do it here. We can do that down here. Not bad, just a bit too slow now. So if we do it this way around, so we're going to load the accumulator with contents of HL and then add the direction in twice. Okay, I'm trying to keep my eye on where that's actually... Right, let me change the direction of the way. What I'm trying to spot is when the point hits the floor, does it stay still or does it slide? So we need it to stay still. Yeah, I think Initialize will have this as well, so... No, it stays still, that's good. Yeah, that's fine. I think maybe a little bit faster. Best match, great. That feels better. There we go. That's kind of the right speed now. So the only thing I need to make it do now is detect when it hits the edge of a platform. I detect when there's something in its way. So this is fine as well. All this means is we need to do a check. Why is that gone all the way over there? Oh, there we go. It's that needs to be open. We need to do a check, which we can kind of do in this place here to see if there's collidable on either side. So we can do this as part of the negative and positive because when the frame changes, we also update the direction. So what we can do is we can say, okay, once we know kind of what we're doing with the animation, whether they're going forwards or backwards, we can use that to determine where we need to check for the collision. So let's take a look. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to go and have a quick smoke outside. Oh my god, that hasn't leaked for like an hour. That's pretty good. I'm sure it will once I start smoking it though. I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. I'll leave you guys with the quiz as normal and see you in 5 minutes. Right. Fuzzy logic, no logic. Yeah, it's kind of. Oh, I feel like we've had this one before. It looks familiar. Maybe not. What is that? I have no idea what that is. No. Also, this does not taste like cherry cola. Don't know what it tastes like, but it ain't cherry cola. Space Invaders a rip-off. Oh yeah, it does look kind of Space Invaders, doesn't it? But it looks like they've got a target or something, so I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. Never heard of that one. Well, I said I'd put some obscure ones in. There you go. There's your first obscure one for a while. Let me put the race back on 10 minutes as well. My default is on 15 minutes at the moment. It's not ideal. Okay, right. So what do we want to do? We want to do some collision checks. So collision checks we already kind of have in the player routine. So let's go and have a look at the player routine and see how that handles it. Player jump and fall. Okay, so what we do is we load accumulate with 0 for some reason. Oh, because that is the sprite number we're interested in, or is it the meta sprite? I think it's the meta sprite. And then we call a few of these functions. So let's grab this, and let's have a look how we can apply that to our enemy update in here. Okay, so this is the check that we're doing. It's calling get char position, which I'm guessing is in here, and this is using pretty much every register. So we need to make sure we don't. Yeah, a meta sprite. Okay, so we do use the meta sprite value, so that's good. Okay, so in that case, do we know what meta sprite we're using here? No, we do not know what meta sprite we're using in here. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. but we do have the X and the Y, so maybe we can do this in a slightly different way. Because all we're trying to get here is the address indeed of the location that we're looking at. So if we have a look at the collision routine, so this is getting the char position, and this is taking a sprite number and a BC offset here. So what is this doing? This is loading. What's our meta sprite data like? So that I don't remember what the meta sprite data is now. So I'm gonna have a look. Set it in the players, don't we, as well? So let's close some of these down. Okay, Metasprite data. So Metasprite data is as follows. Flags is in 0, Y is in 1, and X is in 2. Those are the only things we're interested in the case of this collision, which means in here, sprite number. Okay, so this is working out which sprite we're looking at. This is getting the Y position, which is what it says here indeed. So but where's it getting the X position from? It's getting the X from here. Okay. So this is going to have to be separate. Is a SID request broken? Oh, why is it broken? Okay, don't request anything for a second, guys. Let me restart the overlay. So overlay is going to restart. Yeah, it's not showing anything in the list. All right, yeah, let me restart the overlay. One sec. Just a minute, bug in it somewhere. And I'll add the tunes that you guys requested. So who requested? Let's have a look. Okay, Metal Slug. Can I even type in there? Yep. I don't think that's what you wanted, but that's what Metal Slug brings up. Wait, it's still broken. Something's gone horribly wrong here. Time's all wrong. Look, everything's wrong. Okay, let me refresh one more time. Actually, let me stop the server and do it that way. It's probably the safest way of doing this. Yeah, you can have a quiz in a second. Let me just get this tune back again. So you're going to have the same tune again, I'm afraid. It should be fading. Oh, it is fading out. Okay. And who else requested Looney Balloon? Oh god, you would have to type a whole thing out, wouldn't you? Looney. And then steps requested sinful. It's going to do them in reverse order because I'm admin. It always moves my stuff straight to the beginning of the queue. So yours will come up next, steps. Okay, let's grab the races. There we go. I have no power to reverse the order. Yeah, because I've got the overlay panel, if I add anything, it immediately puts it on next. Wow, that was quick. Who got that? I thought I might have known it was steps. Okay, so what we could do, I feel like we need to have the meta sprite position here as well. It's just otherwise it's kind of tricky to do this. So what I'm going to do is in enemies, we're going to have a value in here which we're going to increment as we go along. So all that's going to be is the metadata for these. So I'm going to load the accumulate with 1. I'm going to store that at current enemy update A, and then this point here I'm going to load with enemy update increase A. And then that way I can just read this value whenever the enemy indirect call is called, and then that solves that problem then. So that means now in here, this would be load the accumulator with current enemy update. Okay, so let me make these into a few different functions. So check left, we'll need check right. Oh, we'll need check left and down as well. And then we'll need check right and down. Now these might end up being shared, which is why I'm just going to put them in here for now. But we may end up moving these into the main function. Okay, so get char collision. Is collision solid or ladder? Is that enough, or can we just do is collision solid? Is collision solid? That's all we want. We don't care if it's a ladder. Like so. There we go. In fact, we don't even need to do that here. I would say this would be enough, and we could do the check outside of that. So check left is going to be checking to the left of our character. So our X position is going to be 0. And our Y position is going to be about halfway down the sprite, or maybe a little bit more. Let's do 10 characters down. And this is going to destroy the shit out of everything. So we need to make sure that if we call this, we save anything we need to save. So, and I am going to put these in the main enemies function. And in fact, I'm going to call them enemy check left. So here we check left again, but this time we're going to check a lot further down. So we're going to check that if there's still some floor in front of us. So I'm going to check like there, which is about 2 pixels below us. And then basically for the right hand side, it's the same thing, but with this set to 0f. Now, it may be that we need to expand these out a little bit. It may be that we're checking far too close to the sprite, but I think it might be all right because I think there's a bit of a gap on either side of the sprite. So we're probably all right with this as it stands. Okay, so let's move these into the main enemy function, because these are going to be shared across all enemies. No point in having multiple here. Oh, look at that, Mr. G on 1.15 million. Wow. Okay, right. So triangle. So in this case, what we need to do here, we're checking negative. At the end of it is here, so we can do the check here. And the only thing we need to keep the same is DE. Everything else can be destroyed here. So let's push DE. Let's pop DE. So there's our beginning and end, and then we can call enemy check left. And all we're doing here is we're not checking if the ground is there. We're just checking if something is blocking our space to the left. And then we should be able to do is collision solid, and I can't remember how to do the next bit. Just look this up. So we check, can we jump? Okay, it's going to be either XC or NC. I can't remember which one it's going to be. So I think collision is carry is set if carry is set if there is collision, and it's cleared if there's not. I think that's how it works. So so let's say if there's no collision, skip glide. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to reverse the direction, which means we're going to take oh my god, how are we going to do this? Because this is all the way towards the end of the freaking file now. Are you trying to? You're just trying to wake. You're just trying to wake Hayes up, aren't you? Okay, so we need to reverse this value here. Ooh, which is going to be tricky because this is now. Yeah, this is not going to be easy to do because now we need to go back to this value here and change this value. Okay. Okay, so we can pop the value here. So now DE is pointing not quite to the end, but almost to the end. So what we might be able to do is do this in a slightly sneaky way. No, it's not going to matter, is it? Fuck, this is going to be a pain. I'm kind of regretting not having index. I'm regretting doing Z80 if I'm honest. God's sake. Okay. So the problem is I need to change this value all the way back here. But everything else is possibly bashed. The only thing I know for sure is that DE is pointing to the very end of the array. Well, let's do a test, right? So I can colliding here, so reverse. So what I can do is I can push DE back onto the stack here. So I need to pop it because I need to grab the value, but I'm going to restore it by doing this rather than counting back again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go backwards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think no, not 7. It's what are we at here? We're at 7, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now we need to toggle that last bit. So that's gonna toggle. Hang on, it's not gonna toggle. It's gonna fucking toggle everything, isn't it? No, hang on. Oh my god, I need to think about this. So if I've got and I exclusively or that with that, what do I get? I get 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, and if that was 0, that would be 1, 0, 0. Okay, that's fine. Okay, just being stupid again. Really not on a really not on a kind of mood for this, I don't think. Okay, so hopefully this will reverse the direction now. So let's give this a try. Soon find out. It's probably moving the wrong way to begin with anyway, so yeah, it's moving the wrong way. Oh, this is LED storm, isn't it? I remember this. It starts with smoke on the water. Oh, because now I'm changing the X position or something, or the Y position. So I've gone too far. Okay, well, now it's not even doing anything. Is it going to appear on this side? Better I do. There we go. I feel like this is way more complicated than it needs to be, but whatever. Okay, so it's definitely hitting the edges here. D is point to D157. And the value I should be trying to change is what does D start as? D starts as D1. In here. D150. Ah, cheers. Cheers, wicked. Sprite frame 6543. It should be that one. Okay. Cheers. Welcome along, dude. How's things? Thank you for the follow, Justice PS. Thank you for the raid. Cheers. Hope you've been having a good night tonight. But what time are we on? Oh, it's 10 to 1. Right, okay. I'm probably going to only do about half an hour myself, but I kind of want to fix this first. So, did you manage to complete the game you have to complete? Good job using your ability after the race was already won, Cosmos. It's a relatively long stream. But you finished it. Almost finished it. Okay. Game Boy Color. I haven't seen any Game Boy Color programming since college. Yes. Yes, I like it. Well, I like the Game Boy Color. I don't like the language, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I should be setting this to backwards. Oh no, it's already backwards. Oh shit. It's not good enough to just this is not good enough. What I need to do is do this. Oh no. No. No, that's awful. So you have to finish it 100% to technically finish it. Okay, that is harsh. That is very harsh. Oh my god, why is it not reversing? Okay, let me put the breakpoint in again. Let's have a look. You thought you'd hate 6502 assembly, but it's going on. Yeah, I really like 6502. It's just nice and simple. It's not trying too hard to have everything. It just does the bare minimum it needs to get by, and actually ends up being super easy because of it and powerful. I mean, load of value, set the flags. You don't have to compare all the time. Okay, so let's just step through this a little bit. So DE D565554. Okay, so load the accumulator. Okay, this is the problem. 4. Yeah, that's the problem. We're loading the wrong value and we need to do one more in there. I should make a new intro with just this tune in it, to be honest, for the stream. Oh, did that reverse on its own? I didn't do anything and it reversed, so if it starts coming back this way. Oh no, because now it's going right, so it's not actually checking anything now. Okay, I want to see what happened then. I didn't see if it. Oh no, it just changed directions automatically. Okay, let me move it over a little bit. Oh, is it this one? Yeah, let me move this to 120. Oh no, no, it's just going the wrong way. Why is it going the wrong way? Initialize enemy -1. It should be going backwards, but it's not for some reason. Oh, I've probably got this the wrong way around. Hang on. No. Why is it going that way? It should be going this way. Okay, let's put the breakpoint in again. Okay, it seems to claim it's collided straight away. Now, okay, I want to check that because I'm not sure that's correct at that point. It could just be that this is happening before the screen is updated. Because we are seeing it. If you look here, see nothing on the screen at this point, but it's already jumped in and started doing this. So maybe this is the wrong point, and so it's reverse directions because it thinks it's collided, which is fine. But it hasn't. So let me just try switching. First of all, I'm just going to try switching the direction over. And then we'll see if it actually does change direction when it collides. I think that's what's happening. It's reading a collision value before it's actually collided with anything. Now it's still going the wrong direction. Although notice the breakpoint didn't happen that time because it doesn't check in that direction. Okay, right. I need to get it to check in both directions. Fine. So we'll do. Okay, so we should be able to just copy most of this now from here. Oops, from here to here, sorry. And stick that in here. We will need to change that to skip collide 2 and stay the same, and this will be collision right. Check right, collision solid. Yeah, okay. So now we should be checking in both directions. You like how well documented? Yeah, it was very well documented. I mean, I don't know how if it was as well documented as it is nowadays, back in the day, but it certainly seems like they went out of their way to do it properly. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, this is looking promising. It is reversing direction as well. Okay, we're not going to get a collision check here because it's going to go past, but we can check down as well now. Okay, so let's do that. Let's so before we do this, we're going to do exactly the same thing again. We're going to take these values, and this time, was it just called right and down? And down, okay. But this time it's the opposite. So this time, this flag is switched the other way around because now what we're doing is we're checking is there solid ground in front of us. If there isn't solid ground, then we have to switch around. So you had the official documentation. Cool. I think that's because the online Pandoc stuff seems to be based quite heavily on proper information. So maybe that's where they've got it from. I mean, if it was well documented back then, it makes sense to just keep using the same stuff. Okay, that did not check down though. Okay, let me put this back in the middle somewhere. Okay, it's not turning around when it should do there. Is it going to come out this side? It is, but it's not changing direction. Nor is it changing direction there. Okay, that's interesting. Which is this bit here. It should be checking collision to the right. Ah, okay. This is because what we actually need to do is kind of slightly opposite. So what we need to do is if it has collided, we need to jump to collide 2. Otherwise, we're going to do this check. And if it hasn't collided, we go to skip collide. Okay, right. So I need to do that up here as well. So okay, that should be fine. Okay, well, we're hitting breakpoints all the time now. So see if we hit a breakpoint when we get to this edge. We do. Awesome. Right, so let's get rid of that breakpoint in the change direction. Hopefully now we have something which is going to move in both directions. And then I think what I'll do just before we finish is makes it so that the timeline changes the palette for the sprite as well. Because as you'll see in a second, the palette's going to be completely wrong. So that's perfect. I mean, I could probably move the detection points a little bit further out, but it doesn't need much. You can see it just kind of clips in a little bit on the thing, but you'll see what I mean with the timeline. See, it's still got that palette, so we need to make sure that that palette matches, which I shall do in a second. So let me go and get some. Oh shit! I can't get back up there anyway. Yeah. All right. Okay, but we've got moving enemies. Right. Let me move those detection areas out slightly. There's no need for them to be so close. I think I can do this. So I'm going to move it 3 pixels out that way, and 3 pixels out this way. Hoping that will work. It should do. I think the match should work out. One thing about the Z80 is that the carry flag, the fact that you've got add with and add without carry makes it really nice for these things. It's just it's a bit too far now. Let's move them in. Whoops, by 1 pixel. That'll do. I think that's spot on. Okay. Always throws me this tune. It sounds too busy for some reason. Okay, cool. Let's try and get the palette switch working. So at the moment, obviously, palette does not match. That should be pretty easy. So we do already have some transition checks in. Is it? I'm just gonna grab it from anywhere. It really doesn't matter where I grab it from. It's the same fucking check everywhere. So there we go. And then when we do the draw enemies, so this is where the enemy sprites are being set. This is the palette. Okay. So if it's the new, then jump to call it standard palette, and then apply palette will be here, and then here we can just do load, connect with 1. That should be enough. I think that's all we need to do. It sounds weird, this tune. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's deliberate or not, but it just sounds strange. There we go. The palette is matching now. Nice and simple. Okay, so I mean, it took a while, but what we've managed to do is we've managed to get a system that's going to work for all our enemies with a little bit of tweaking. It's not quite as flexible as the behavior system we use on the game on Saturdays. This is leaked again because it's almost empty. You know, I got 50 mils of this liquid. I thought it was going to last me ages, but at the rate this is leaking, it's going to last me a day. Yeah, so the system we've set up here is going to work for all the enemies, and the bulk of the work has been done now. It's just a matter of tweaking these update functions to work for each one. And actually, there's only 3 enemies which are 3 enemies which use collision in this way, which change directions. The other 2 are just timer based. So one is the drop from the ceiling, has nothing to do with collision. It just starts at the top of the screen. Once it's moved a certain distance, it drops to the floor. It does 1 collision check that it's hit the floor, and then it starts a second phase of animation and resets. And the other one has no collision at all, which is the little kind of I don't know what you call them. They're just like arrows that kind of shoot up and jump up and down. Those really just go up, come down, wait, and repeat, and that's it. So they should be pretty easy to do. Keys again should be easy to do. What else are we missing? That's kind of it. Keys and doors. Doors are already done. Keys. Yeah, okay. So let's do I need to do anything else to this enemy? I feel like that's oh, Hazes woke up. You missed all. They were trying hard to wake you up. They kept playing they played Mario Cement Factory, they played Lambada, they played Parasol Stars in-game music as well. They tried very hard, yeah. So I think that's right for that enemy now. I don't think that needs anything else. That's kind of behaving correctly. Obviously, there's no collision with the player yet, so that's something to do. Oh, we should probably put the life, because we've only got one life, so we put the lives back so there's more. So let's do that. Lives. So let's start with 4 lives. There we go. You fell asleep after 2 hours of Chiz trying to beat one room. Oh no, seriously? You spent an hour and a half trying it and then realised it was a different way. That's painful, man. That is painful. Okay, cool. I'm not sure there's much more we can do here now. I might just call it a night here. I mean, there's the spring guy I could kind of put in. Actually, let's do that. Let's just create the basic for the spring guy. So let's copy all of this. Let's create new file spring.asm. Nothing to do with the Java framework. Enemy Spring update. Bit of umpah. So for now, we'll just use the same method. I just want to make sure that I can load a second file because that's something I haven't actually tested yet. Initialization wise, we'll probably do this on the next stream, which is we'll set up an initialization which we'll call enemy triangle in it, enemy spring in it, so we can set those values correctly. Okay, so in terms of palette, we're going to need a new palette for this. So let's have a look. Let's close that. It's going to no, not that one. It's Vram viewer I want. So even though it's this down here, I'm gonna use these values here. So I want a kind of a purpley color here. So if I set it to 0 and I put a half red in, what do I get there? Okay, I get nothing apparently. Okay, that gives me a purpley color for sure. See what that looks like on here. I would like the dark to actually be not grey, but like to be a blue color here instead. So this one here, I want to just knock out some of the green and red here. Let's make it like a dark blue, maybe lighter slightly. That should be fine. Okay, let's copy those values to the palette. Vram viewer. So 24427810. Oops. Now, bear in mind, we are going to need 3 palettes specifically to do the keys. Or we need to draw the keys in such a way that they can have all the colors in there, but then they would be kind of static rather than. I'll have a think about that when we get to it. Maybe we can share a palette from somewhere else. Okay, I've lost the palettes. Did I close that down with that? Oh no, 24427810. The only thing I'm not keen on is the way the palettes work. I mean, I get that they're trying to save bytes, but it would have been better if they'd have gone with 3 bytes, even if they wanted to keep RGB 555. At least that you've got it spread over 3 bytes instead of cramming it all into 2, because it makes adding colors in kind of difficult without actually using a tool like that or using my editor, which can do the same thing as well. So okay, okay, hopefully that should give me well, it's going to give me a purple triangle, I think, at the moment. Let's have a try. Let's close some of these down. No, enemies triangle reverse direction is already defined. Okay, so I'm going to move the reverse direction now. Into here. I'm going to get rid of it from triangle as well. Okay, so this is just a purple triangle. So to load the spring guy, I just need to load this guy up here. So this is 40, 42, 44. So this is 46, 48, 4A. Okay, 46. Okay, so backwards would be 4, 4, 6, 8, A, 4, 4A would be the start. So that'd be A, 6, yeah. And then the other way around would be 46 would be the start, and 4C would be the endpoint plus 2. Cool. Oh, and I've done the wrong freaking file, haven't I? Close the triangle down. Let's do it in here. Okay, so start again. So this would be 4, 4. This start would be 4A, which means the start frame here would be 46, and the end would be 4C. Holy shit, that looks really big. Also, it's not jumping as well. It needs to actually jump up, and it's not doing. So that's something we have to do. We have to adjust the Y position based on the frame, which is fine. God, that looks a lot bigger in this version. Also, it doesn't seem to animate properly either. I need to have a look at the animation in here, because it's not ping pong. Yeah, we did just but this is in the playlist. So there's a default playlist of 209 tunes, and this is one of them, which is pretty crazy coincidence, but there you go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a night in a second. Okay, I need to look at this animation because I don't think this is working correctly. I'm trying to see what's going on. It's kind of hard to tell. Actually, the colors don't look right at all. But I feel like that's not going through the animations properly. Which should be going from... Oh, wait, hang on. Hang on. Let me just move these down here. So that would be that. No, it wouldn't. It would be... Yeah, I'm not sure how that animation is supposed to work because it looks fine in here. But then in here it looks completely wrong. Yet those animations are in the same order. The shadows are in the same place. This fucking tune, man. Jesus Christ. Oh, Hazy's got it down to 5 letters, 6 letters now. 7 letters, sorry. And yes, 7 letters. Jesus Christ. For those who are new to the stream, this is Hazy's way of trolling me quite massively. And everybody else, actually. You all have to listen to it. And he loves doing it. Okay. It's a shalalala bomb. Okay, what is going on here? Right, so oh, maybe the frames don't need to reverse. Maybe this is the problem, is the frames are reversing each time. In which case, 4-6, 4-6, 4-8, 4-8, 4-6. Okay, let me just copy. Because that could definitely be part of the problem here. Because I'm just copying code, you see, so... No, it's just not, it's not moving right. I need to check out these animations at some point. But I think I'll call it a night there, guys. Oh, was there another tune? All right, I'll let Warlock's tune play out, and then I'll call it a night. So let me pause the Sid requests. But that's not bad progress. We've got one enemy in. I don't know why the animation looks so janky for this guy. He also looks really big, more so than before. So yeah, it's using the move logic from the previous enemy, but that should be fine. The not jumping up in the air is something I can add, but it shouldn't be the... I just think the frames are wrong. I think I might have to redraw these. I think I might have to redraw these frames. I just did a straight copy from here, and I don't think it works quite well. So it's fine. I can redraw them. I've got more room anyway, so because I'm not using a separate set of sprites for this mode, just changing the palette. So it's fine. It's fine. I think I just need to redraw it. Oh, I remember this. Wasn't there was a game I played on Amstrad, Oh Mummy, I think, that had this in it. But I'm quite happy with this so far. It looks pretty decent. To be honest, my favorite thing is the game over. I really like the fade out. I can't remember. I think it was Warlock who suggested that actually. It just looks really nice. Should have kept my lives. Does look good. I like it. It kind of makes me want to animate this now when it's finished. Somehow, I could maybe do a palette cycle, color cycle in the palette, which would look kind of nice. Yeah, it was you. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. All right, let's find someone to raid and let's see if I can actually press the button on time this time. Oh, where's my? There it is. Who's on? Eston's on. What's Eston doing right now? Oh no, Eston's not on. No, okay. I think I need to update. Let me refresh the page. Well, there we go. Naysay's on, Pippa's on, Hulk's on. There we go. Let's go and raid Hulk. I always like raiding Hulk. Oh, it is grabbing food. Okay. Oh my god. Is anybody actually available? Worm Juice Dev. What's Worm Juice Dev doing? Something Unreal Engine 3D. Any other suggestions, maybe? Yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm really tired. Oh yeah, let's go and watch Lyriel swear at Donkey Kong because that's what he does mostly. So, see, there he is, and yes, he is indeed playing Donkey Kong. All right, let's go and hear. Let's go and listen to Lyriel called Donkey Kong a mongrel. Cool. All right. He moans a lot. Yeah, he does. He does. It's funny though because he's got that kind of Australian that Australian way of kind of calling the game names, which is kind of funny. So, all right, cool. Thanks, guys. I shall see you all on Thursday for some more Checkanoid, and we'll get some more progress done on that. And then for the weekend, we'll get back to the pick and mix stream, which is coming along really well. I'm looking forward to getting that out so I can actually begin work on Parasol Stars. So, anyway, take care, guys, and I shall see you all soon. Cheerio.